Think about an economy that's growing fast. New factories pop up, roads and cities expand, more people get jobs, and the numbers keep going up year after year. It looks like a perfect success story. But then, things start to change. To get that same amount of growth, you suddenly need way more effort, way more money, and way more planning. What used to feel easy now feels like pushing a boulder uphill for just a tiny bit of movement. This is what we call scaling challenges, where big economies and the big companies inside them start hitting a wall of diminishing returns. So why does this happen? Why does getting bigger eventually make it harder to grow? There are three main reasons. First, coordination becomes a nightmare. As a system gets larger, the number of connections explodes. Think about all the new departments, suppliers, rules, and decisions that need to be managed. The complexity of just keeping everyone on the same page grows way faster than the actual output. Research shows that the administrative burden in large organizations doesn't just grow, it grows exponentially. What starts as efficient teamwork eventually turns into a huge drag on productivity. Second, resources get wasted. In a smaller company or economy, it's easy to see what's needed. The signals are clear, priorities are obvious, and you get feedback quickly. But as you get bigger, that information gets messy and delayed. Money, talent, and attention don't always go where they're most needed. Large economies often pour money into old, outdated industries while ignoring new opportunities, simply because the people at the top can't see the full picture like those on the ground can. Third, things get stuck in their ways. The very structures that made an economy successful in the first place become rigid. Rules pile up, processes become set in stone, and the company culture gets resistant to change. Think of it like this. The path that led you to the top of the mountain can also trap you there, unable to adapt to new challenges. We've seen this happen time and again. Take post-war Japan. It saw incredible growth until the 1990s. Then, the sheer complexity of its economy, combined with bad investments and powerful old guard interests, led to decades of stagnation. More recently, we see China. After decades of mind-blowing growth, it's now facing similar headwinds. The costs of coordination are rising, debt is piling up, and its established systems are making it harder to stay nimble and keep growing at the same pace. It's not just countries either. Huge multinational corporations often find their returns on investment shrinking. They innovate slower and make more strategic mistakes than their smaller, more agile competitors. This isn't a fluke, and it's not necessarily bad management. It's a structural problem. Size itself creates forces that naturally slow things down. So, what's the solution? How can large economies and organizations fight back against this trend? One key is to keep decision-making as local and decentralized as possible. This keeps information clear and feedback loops short. Another is to constantly clean house. Get rid of outdated rules and bureaucratic sludge that just slow things down. It's also vital to invest in flexibility. This could mean running small pilot programs to test new ideas, creating regulatory sandboxes, where innovation can happen without being crushed by old rules, and rotating leaders to bring in fresh perspectives. The most important thing is to recognize that the formula for past success often becomes a trap for the future. Scaling isn't an endless upward climb. It's a journey with natural limits. The leaders who understand these limits and actively work to counteract them are the ones who can keep the engine of growth running longer and stronger than those who just assume the good times will last forever. Have you seen this happen in a company or an economy, where growth started to slow down not because of a crisis, but just because it got too big? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Your insights are what make these conversations so valuable. For more deep dives into the hidden forces that shape our world, subscribe and hit the notification bell. Thanks for watching.